go to your bridge pickup. This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, I've been on a bit of an Eric Johnson kick the last few days. Obviously, it's been a years and years type thing, but I like to kind of adjust my Helix presets as I make some discoveries, you know, that sort of thing really. And this is basically a Helix native preset, although if you want them for HX Stomp, it's essentially going to be very similar to the Eric Lead and Eric Clean. I'll show you all of the settings. First of all, this IR can go. This doesn't need to be here. So what I've actually started using instead is a stock cab. And personally, although this isn't anything like what actually Eric Johnson himself has used over the years, I've kind of found things that kind of work for me to get in that ballpark. So that is the actual cab that I would use, the Cali V30 with the 67 condenser. I do vaguely feel like I remember reading about that being a microphone of choice for him and Neumann, but it's probably not actually true either. But anyway, the whole idea with this preset is that actually it's not made up of many of the elements of Eric's stuff at all. It's kind of just things that I thought got me in the ballpark. So, first of all, we've got a compressor. At one point or another, he did use a Dynacomp. You can see that. I don't think it's necessarily an always-on thing, but it certainly, for this kind of direct Helix tone, I think it helps to add a little bit of stuff. I use the settings 3.8 sensitivity, and then mix at 83%, and then level at plus 12 dB. You could adjust that for your guitar, particularly if you're using like a Les Paul or something like that. You might take the sensitivity way down. Then the mail-order twin, I used this because I didn't feel like the actual Fender stuff in here was quite clean enough for trying to do this kind of thing. So the mail-order twin, 1.8 drive, bass at 2.9, mids at 2.8, treble at 8.6, presence at 10, channel volume at 7.9. That gets turned off or turned down for the kind of dirty snapshot, so that's why there's a snapshot clean there. Then into the Kali V30 4x12, as we just said, position 3.9, mic 67 condenser. Then into a dual delay. Here this is set to be time based with the project, so quarter and quarter dotted. Then left feedback 71, right feedback 62. The mix at about 25% and no modulation on that. The modulation then comes in with a chorus after the delay. Speed 1, depth 7.4, pre-delay no. Whoops. Triangle, shaped, tone 5, spread 10, mix 50%. So without that, it would kind of... I think it definitely helps get in that ballpark. Then the glitz delay, which kind of has a bit of that bloom. Kind of helps you get in that Venus-style territory. So decay 5.1, pre-delay 1, and then as you see, high cut 15.5, mix 18, level 0, etc, etc. So if you want to copy that. The delay and reverb settings are more or less the same, I think. So you could combine this in a more efficient way, but I just kind of, when I initially made this, had just two separate paths. So then, the rhythm, ignore that. I guess that's kind of like a blend of both. Not the most useful thing, but the lead is kind of the thing that maybe you're here for. So this, I actually started off with some more aggressive settings, but this is kind of tamed a bit. So we've got the red squeeze again, sensitivity 3.8, mix 83%, the level down at plus 4.9, so not pushing things as much as I used to. And then I go into a top secret OD because the tube driver I don't think sounds particularly like the tube driver that I've got here, the real life one. So the gain at 8.8, the level at 8.3, that's kind of getting towards fuzzy-ish territory. And then we're going into the line 6 litigator, drive at 5.9, bass at 5.6, mids at 10, treble and presence at 0, channel volume at 9.5, and the master at 5. Now, around the Venus-style time, I believe there's definitely some talk that he was using something Dumble flavoured. Of course, we all know these days around the Marshall kind of plexi thing, so that's also a really good idea, would be to use the plexi jump, and you can then copy his settings exactly. But I found that for me, this litigator, the more Dumble flavoured thing, seems to, for me, work quite nicely in this kind of vibe. And then same amp settings, same cab settings, delay and reverb, and then you get... So I think I would have sometimes, if you wanted it to be a bit darker, this high cut take down to about 4 kilohertz. I just save that, and then for our lead dark, take that down to 4, and that might be something you guys find you prefer, or depending on your era of Eric, because I feel like Venus Isle was slightly brighter, and over time things have got a little bit darker in my estimation, and a little bit more kind of even more rolled off tone wise. So you could go to your bridge pickup. So with the slightly lower gain setting than I would normally be using with this, although it's quite a lot of gain still, it is very responsive to you kind of adjusting your bridge tone pickup. So do that as well. So that's kind of my settings here that I've been using recently. If you want to check those out, jump into the Gumroad folder. That's where you'll be able to find this. If you bought this before, then feel free to just jump into the Google Drive. But ongoing support does help me to keep making these videos. I'll catch you in another video soon, and cheers for stopping by.